Oh, I was born in Freswburg.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born down there. Right up on the highest peak, Oak Hill Road, way just the other side of the highest peak up there. On a bomber, B-17s.
Right.
And part of a 10-man crew. And when we got hit on that thing, I could see the radio man was kind of in a bad way because of lacks of oxygen, so I jumped off of my oxygen, went up into the radio room and used my mask on him until I could locate his. And there was several minutes there, probably 4 or 5 minutes, where we were swapping my mask back and forth just to keep both of us alive.
Sure.
And I finally found his, and then we both got on the oxygen situation, and till I got him straightened out and where he could stand and come back into the thing. Whenever they hit us with, I don't know what, but it did set our engine on fire and our tanks or something, and there was a small stream of fire that was coming out of the wing ports up over the bomb bay, right down the catwalk and right through the radio room. And it was amazing. It held its size in that whole thing, just like a regular squirt on me. We finally did get some communication from the front, and it was about the fire. They asked if there was anything we could do about it, and there was no answer to that situation because it's nothing we could get at. So there was a few minutes of silence from the commander, and he finally decided we had all better do some bailing out on that thing. I managed to get everybody out of their things, the ball turret, the tail gunner, and the next waist gunner, and I'd kicked out the hatches and had everything prepared for a bailout on that thing. And I was standing at the rear hatch and motioned back. There was 3 men standing on the catwalk in the rear end with stunned looks on their faces, and this part gets to me. I never knew what happened to any of them because none of them survived. But they were all there, all with their parachutes on, all capable of jumping. They never made it. There was only 4 of us out of the whole aircraft that survived out of the 10 men. The pilot was hit. The top turret man was killed. The bombardier was killed. So that left the navigator and the co-pilot up front. And afterwards, we had a slight reunion in Cincinnati in '88 when the 4 of us, or 3 of us, got together. I asked the co-pilot what had happened on that situation. He didn't really remember an awful lot of it. But he says the pilot did have a sense of presence to reach over and put the automatic pilot on, which kept the plane flying as best it could on that thing. But he did give the order to bail out. So I was sitting there on that hatch, waiting to turn back, and I motioned to the 3 guys on the thing to come on, and the radio man pushed me out, and he followed right out after me. And it is surprising. I don't know if I waited or didn't wait, but I pulled a ripcord on that thing. And in a situation like that, you're looking for instant gratification. It didn't come, so in the meantime, you're pulling one little cord, and it feels like that thing has got to be about 6 foot long, you know, because you just can't get it out quick enough for that airplane to open up. But finally, the parachute did deploy, and oh, the pain when that happened. It catches you right in the crotch, and it makes you mighty aware of where you are. Mm-hmm. But nevertheless, it's still a shock. It's a suicidal act, really, when you first time you do that thing. I can remember smoking 2 cigarettes on the way down. I couldn't light them with this.
You're smoking as you're coming down?
I'm smoking as I'm coming down, like a damn idiot. I don't know what, but it took a whole book of matches, you know, to get me going on one cigarette. It's lucky I had a couple matchbooks here. When I did land, I could look down, and here was the big Zuider Zee, and there's a small spit of land between the Zuider Zee and the North Sea, and all 4 of us miraculously landed on that little spit of land on it. Of course, all of us, I could look down, and here's these small German troops, you know, there's about 6 or 7 of them on bicycles. You could see them coming around the different roads to figure out whether you're going to land on it. Well, I landed right up next to that Zuider Zee dike. It looks like it must have been about 70 feet up top of that thing. There was no way to get away the other way. By train, they took us all the way up into Lithuania to Camp 4, Stalag 4, which is the name of that situation. And I was there about 8 months, I think. One newcomer come in, and of course, being in the morning, he had to get up and go to the latrine. Whether anybody told him the rules or not, we don't know. But anyhow, he headed out of the barracks and headed towards the latrine, which was probably 60 to 70 yards down the other side of the compound. And of course, the German guards in the tower saw him, and he kept motioning him to go back, but he couldn't understand German, so he just kept going, and they finally did shoot him right dead and right in the middle of the compound there. It's a fatalistic attitude. I mean, I was sleeping next to a window and peeked out, and I'm amazed to this day that seeing that dead guy out there and hearing the shot, I still went back to sleep.
How were you treated at the camp?
Personally, I was never abused. I was never hit, never poked or prodded or anything like that. We had some kind of transportation or something into what they call Moosburg. Moosburg was a political prisoner type of deal. They had quite a few Russian prisoners in there. On the 29th of April was when Patton come in with his tanks and poked them in the door on that thing. And I can remember that was the first touch of freedom that I've had in 15 months. Starvation was a way of living. I think in the last 4 months of that thing, I lost about 45 to 50 pounds. I was down to about 160 from a little over 200.